Hi guys, how's it going? In this lesson, we're going to talk about input. So, we use input when we want to get user input. So, we want to allow the user to enter something on the keyboard. And the way we do that is just like print, we just type in input with open close parentheses. If I run this program now, you see we get hello world and a blinking cursor. So this blinking cursor indicates that Python is expecting us to type something. So I can type something in and press enter and our program ends. Cool. So we have allowed our user to type something in, but we don't really know what they typed in and we're not really doing anything with it. Let's try and show the user what they typed in. We do that by giving whatever they type in a name. So really we don't really know what the user types in, so we just give it some name, and whenever we use that name in our program, Python will replace it with whatever the user types in. I'm just going to call this A. So I'm going to type in A equals input, and I'm going to clear my console window. So you can do that with CLS if you're using command prompt, or the word clear if you're on Linux or Mac in the terminal. Okay, I'm going to run the program again. We got hello world. It's waiting for input. Type something in, press enter, and we don't get anything. That's because I forgot to put in print. So I'll do print A. Notice that A is not in quotation marks. Run the program again, type in something, enter, and we get back whatever we had typed in. Awesome. So once again, input, we use input to get something from the user. We give it a name because we don't know what the user types in. So whatever they type in, we give it a name, and then whenever we wanna refer to what the user typed in, we can just use that name. Now the reason we are printing A without quotation marks is because if we use quotation marks and run this, you see Python prints it out A. Whatever we put in quotation marks appears as is. So here essentially we're telling Python to print out the character A. When we don't use quotation marks, then Python is going to evaluate this, which means it's going to try and do a calculation on it. In this case, Python identifies that this is a name for something, and it figures out what it is that the name is referring to and shows us that. So in this case, it's for whatever the user types in, so it shows us what the user types in. Cool. Now let's create a program where we ask the user for their name and then we say hello, their name. I'm going to give you guys a few moments to try it out, give it a go, and then come back once you have had a shot at it. Cool. So I hope you guys gave it a go. The way we do that is, let's just say enter your name. They type in their name and we can say hello space name. Now we discussed this in the first video. Essentially we need to separate this with a comma because the first part is in quotation marks, second part is not. So we need to separate the two with a comma. But when I run this, you see we get enter your name. I can type in, let's say Melbit, and I get hello Melbit. Now right now we enter it, so the message displayed on one line and then we enter our name on the second line. I like to put this on the same line. So once again, the video on print, I'm going to use and I'm going to say nothing, since I'm using double quotes. And now when I run this program, it says enter your name and I can enter it on the same line. It says hello Melbit. Cool. So this works, but there is a better way to do this. We can actually type in the message directly inside of input. So if I just cut this part and paste it in input, you'll see that it works exactly the same. Enter your name and hello Melbit. Yeah. Awesome. So this is how you can get input from the user. Let's do something a little more interesting. Let's try and create a program where we ask the user for two numbers, and with the two numbers we add them up. So once again, I'm going to give you guys a few moments to try it out. I'll give it a go and see how it goes. Welcome back. So I hope you gave that a go. Essentially what we do is we use two input statements. So I'm just going to say enter first number here. I'm going to call this num1, and then I'm going to create another number here, num2, input, enter second number. Then in our print I can do num1 plus num2. Okay, and I can say the sum of the numbers is, okay, let's just do that. Now when I run this, enter first number 5, enter second number 3, we get sum of the numbers is 53. Something went wrong. When we ask the user for some input using input, whatever is typed in is being interpreted as if it was entered in quotation marks. So essentially what's happened is when we typed in 5 for the first number, this is what Python sees. When we typed in 3 for the second number, this is what Python sees. And as I mentioned in the video on print, this is actually what we need, right? So this line is effectively 5 like that plus 3 like that, when what we actually need is this. Why does this happen? This is because of data types, which I'll cover in the next video. Happy coding!